Whoa, boy. Oh, boy, Amar. That sucked. there's no
Oh,
no there's no other way around that one, buddy. That one sucked.
that
That
was
really sucked.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After last week, I was kind of like I had hope. I really did. I was like, oh, we're gonna make a comeback. We go turn this thing around. We showing some life here in the second half, and then like I'm not even mad at Quay. I'll be honest with you. He was playing his ass off. Like on the defense, I thought like him and Ford were the only ones really doing shit. And I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, yeah, that was kind of bad, but I was like, I don't know why he got the penalty. I still can't figure it out. So, but no, I'm with you,
Yeah,
man. This was not what I was expecting on a Thursday night. No, definitely
yeah.
not.
Now, on real quick on that Quay one, from what I understand, you can't you can't do that jump over the center if you're back more than a yard away from the line of scrimmage. So they don't want people taking a running start to try to jump over the center. Regardless of that, I'm not mad at the kid for trying to make a play. He
Yeah,
wasn't. I don't. It's not a play that's putting anyone. I don't really think it puts anyone in that big of danger.
right.
I've never really thought about that as a why it's such a point of emphasis in the NFL. But that type of play is so as to me, it's so high risk, low reward. The chances of you timing that jump and getting up there to make the play is so small,
Hmm.
and the chances of something like that happening are so big, and it was a game changer.
Yeah,
It ended any form of comeback right there. You
100%.
just don't make that play. Just
No.
take the field goal. You're down by two. You're down by less than two touchdowns. Just take it, guys.
Yeah.
These are some of the and True North. Thanks for coming in. He talks about
Hmm.
O line and no run game. For me,
He's
it's all about the little details. This team just doesn't execute yet, and some of it is youth. Some of it is just inconsistency from playing together not long enough, and some of it is it has you have to look at coaching for some of it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I feel like this whole week, this whole 4 days or whatever, we've been like, all right, Aaron Jones is back, Christian Watson's back, right? Watson has a touchdown. But the lack of usage for Aaron Jones, even right off the bat, I understand that their secondary was banged up and we're going to attack the secondary, kind of similar to what we tried to do last year too with Rodgers. But and I know they have a good run defense, but I was like, Aaron Jones is a different type of back. Like, I'm sorry, I give him the touches. Like, there was no point in like resting him and doing all these things. If he wasn't ready to go, then we shouldn't have even had him a part of the plan. I'm just
exactly.
kind of like the offensive line, like in the beginning, you could tell too, like Love had time to throw the ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was, I don't know if he was gun shy. I don't know if he was not seeing things because there was guys that were open. But then the second half, I could tell he just kind of said, F it. Like I know the pocket's going to come around me, but I just need to get the ball out. And he started doing that because in the first half, I think he just kind of the rush got to him. But that's why you run the ball. Like even like I don't care. At that point, I'm like, all right, you run the ball 3 times and kick a punt. I'm okay with it because at least you're trying to make the play action actually make sense. Because they kept going play action, but I'm like, you guys aren't running the ball enough to make them actually respect it. And I am done, 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 done with Royce Newman. I am done. I do not want. He just that I understand Aiden Hutchinson is a beast. I get all that, but he is so bad. Like I said, I was telling you earlier, like yeah, Joe Barry on that first touchdown was just stupid. Like I don't know how the hell, I know Russell just got kind of messed up on the double play, on the double move, but even like Barry, he kind of did what he needed to do to get the ball back. Like he got a
Hmm.
turnover,
Yeah,
he got some three and outs. He did enough to give the offense an opportunity to do things. The offense just couldn't, get on track until it was too late. I hate to admit that I'm like, but I'll be honest with you, when they're up by 20 points and Barry's out there with two down linemen, that's what fires him. That's what makes me want to fire him because I'm like, there's no point. You know they're gonna run the ball. Like they're gonna run the ball. Why are you trying to play for the pass? I don't get it. Like, oh, that was tough. That was tough.
yeah. I mean, it's out here that Kurt Benkert, a third string quarterback who I love the guy. He's very
Yeah,
smart, but
yeah.
he had a cup of coffee in the NFL for a fucking reason. He's out here telling you how to run this defense. Look, I am somebody who I try to be very level headed when it comes to
Mhm.
decisions, when it comes to making snap judgments about players or staff, whatever. And
Right, right, right.
I've given Joe Barry a long, 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 long leash. But dang, this fucking offense for Detroit is not that good. They are
He was checking down. He was checking down and getting 9, 10 a clip. I'm
all
like,
fucking game.
oh man. And then like the double reverse again. Like it was like last year all over again. I'm just like, Barry, like, how are you getting exposed? Like the sad thing was like we're not talent deficient. I understand our safeties aren't great, but we're not really that talent deficient. And I'm thinking like that interception off the bat, that should have been it for us. That should have been, all right, we go down, we score,
Yep.
and then we just keep pushing the heat. And the thing is, like with Barry, the way he coaches his stuff, he gets extremely passive. I mean, you saw it, right? Kurt was like, you need a blitz, you need to do something, you need to wreak havoc, you need to make some plays because you don't have time. And Barry's playing soft, he's playing safe. And I'm like, why? And this is the mini bye week until we play Vegas on. One thing I like about our schedule is like bye week is early, so that helps, right?
Uh-huh.
But then like we have this mini bye week, and then we don't play again until Monday night. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is gonna simmer, obviously, right? But the good thing is it gives us time to rest. Maybe Ja can be back for that game, so we can see
And
Ja versus.
like you said, we get 2 Sundays of straight football action where we don't
Yes,
have to sweat out a Packer game,
yes. Oh my
which
gosh, that I
bless up. That's a great thing.
yeah,
That is the one positive I think we can take out of all of this today.
Dan. I'm in 13 fantasy football leagues, so red zone is my life. And so this watching that is like a dream for it. But when the Packers play, I'm so freaking torn, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. Like I was like, I'm so mad too. I started Aaron Jones and Musgrave in a lot of leagues.
Oh,
And I'm just like, oh God.
yeah. Yeah,
That's where that home, right? The
I'm a
homerism.
Jones victim here too.
Yes.
Let's talk about that because
Yeah.
you brought it up there. If he is not healthy enough where you can't give him more than 5 rushing attempts in this game, then he shouldn't be playing. He
No, he shouldn't be
shouldn't
active.
be playing at that
No.
point.
Nope.
And it's just it just kind of goes back again to there's so many times that Matt LaFleur just gets whenever his running backs are whenever it's not a full stable running back, when it's not Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon 100%,
Hmm.
he gets so tentative
Yep.
on running the ball or doing anything with the running backs, and it's like let all gas, baby,
No break.
just
That's it.
fucking
That's it.
go for it. Like you said, you have 10 days before your next goddamn game. Run him. It's what he's paid to do.
Exactly. I think there was something you said where you're like, he gets tentative, right? And I think all last year we kept thinking that, oh, Rodgers doesn't want to run the ball. He wants to throw the ball. He keeps checking it out. He keeps doing this. He keeps doing that. I don't know how much of it was really Rodgers now, if I'm really being honest about it, right? Like, because even the play calling, I'm just like, why are we stepping back and doing three? We're not even doing three-step drops. We're doing like 5, 7 step drops. We're doing slow developing play action. We're doing just stupid stuff. I'm like, these guys are, and the sad thing is, they weren't even blitzing. Like I
Yeah.
read somewhere where the
No, yeah.
next gen stats said they were getting pressure at 4. So what that tells me then is like literally the inside line was just terrible. Everybody except Tom was worthless on this, like in the first half. Walker kind of got it together eventually, but oh man, Runyon had a bad game. They all had bad games. They couldn't handle, like it's like they've never seen a stunt in their entire life. And I'm telling you, bro, I'm done with the room. I if Royce Newman's gonna give me a heart attack, I think he really is. I'm gonna just.
It's time for Sean Ryan. It's time for Sean
It
Ryan
really
at
is.
left guard.
Yep.
Since we're talking about the offensive line here, I think it's probably apropos to discuss the news that dropped before the game that
Yep.
David Bakhtiari is officially being put on the injured reserve. So he is out for a minimum of 4 weeks now.
Right.
Where are you with him at this point as a fan of the Packers?
As a fan, I am in his corner 150%. He had surgery in 2020 for the torn ACL. Then he had another surgery to clean up something that had been bothering him for years, right? Then he kind of was pretty much good for most of last year, except the epidectomy. And this year, something happened where they had to go and do the scope yesterday, right? So that's what
Mm-hmm.
Ian reported, that they had to do a scope to it yesterday. Then they have to go back in again and do more cartilage repair. So more than likely, he's done for this year.
Yeah.
So they said that, yeah, he's done for this year, and he wants to be with the Packers, and he's getting ready for 2024. As a fan, I hold on, man. I know it sounds stupid. I know I sound crazy. I know, like, if, like, I'll put it this way, if Rasheed Walker plays, like, if he was like a Stonewall today, right? Because that
Yeah.
defensive front was pretty good, but like if he was like he had a pretty good to, like, let's say like an above average game, and he kept kind of stacking success, yeah, maybe I'm like, okay, I'm okay with letting D-Bach go. But like if D-Bach's willing to come back, restructure his deal, give us like an incentive based deal about games he plays and this and that, and he wants to stay and we can make it work and it's not gonna kill the cap, I keep him. I keep him just because, what did he say? He said, I am still a top three tackle with one leg behind my back. And he's not lying because he is, right? But what do you think? Because I
It,
can't let go, man.
it's here's my thing, and this is I want to make this absolutely clear every time I talk about it, because I I will never question David Bakhtiari and his
Yeah.
commitment to this team or
Right.
to the game of football. I will never, ever, ever, ever do that. I won't do that for anybody, any player.
Right.
I think he's gotten to, this is a really shit situation for him, and it really sucks that it's hampered what could have been a Hall of Fame career.
Yep.
Um, but I'm at the point now where you played 3/4 of a game and you're out again for a whole nother season, and
Hmm.
it's been 3 years now, and you've played maybe, I'm trying to just think off the top of my head. I think maybe like, I'll have to look up. I'll see if I can grab the stats. I think he's played maybe like 18 games in
If
3 years.
that, yeah, if that, yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you know everything you said, and everything you said from what he said about that, even on like half a leg he's still better than half of, like, that's all true. But
Right.
you know what, you've got to actually be out on the field to do that. You've got to make it out there to be able to prove that. And if you can't be out there for
Hmm.
that, then it not like, we need to think about moving on.
Yeah. I
You
hate
know,
to
and
say it.
it
Yeah.
really, really sucks. But this is a young team. This is a very young team, and he's on the back nine of his career as it is. And I just I don't know what else to do with it. I just can't keep you can't just keep keeping him around in hopes that he plays a couple games a year. It
Exactly.
just doesn't work,
No.
at least not in my mind. Josh Simon brings up, does he still make the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. He's a
I
Packer
don't think
Hall of
so.
Famer for sure, guaranteed.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, this is a real like Nick Collins kind of
Hmm.
injury situation where a, a really bad injury situation takes away what could have been the rest of a Hall of Fame career. It's
Exactly.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. I you think about like Joe Thomas, Orlando Pace, those were left tackles that are in the Hall of Fame right now. And they played many, many, many. I mean, Joe Thomas played like 10 years straight without
Right.
missing a snap, right?
Right.
And
Andrew
then
Whitworth. Yeah.
Andrew Whitworth, right? Like these guys are, there's a reason why they're in the Hall of Fame because of what they accomplished, because of the longevity of how long they played the position, right? Now, can Bebop do that? Maybe if he comes back, but I can't hold my breath on it, honestly.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to look up and see exactly some stats on David Bakhtiari. But
I
let's
think it
talk a
was
little
18
bit.
out of 32. It was like
Is
18
it?
out of 32 or something like that. Yeah, someone
Gosh,
Andy had
dang.
posted it. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about before we talk about some more general feelings of this team and moving forward. Let's talk about we talked about the offense
Hmm.
struggles. Let's talk about the defense a
Yep.
little bit more. Um, and specifically, let's talk about Quay Walker a little bit. I thought there was a lot of good. Uh, he really, I think Quay was maybe the one of the lone bright spots on that defense tonight.
100%.
Um, I didn't get to I didn't get to watch most of the like physically eyes watch. I heard a lot of it on the radio.
Hmm.
Um, and something that the Lions commentators were talking about was that Quay Walker was all over the field, flying
Hmm.
all over the field. I think he ended up with like, let me think. I think he was at 15 10 tackles, 8 assisted tackles. So
Yeah, he
he's in
was
there on almost everything.
everything.
Rudy Ford's the next closest guy with 7 tackles and an assist. So Quay was that's exactly what you want from Quay. And
Yep.
that penalty aside, he has shown that he has taken a huge step forward, and I'm really happy with what I've seen out of Quay Walker so far.
He was playing with his hair on fire. Like there were times where like even when they may have gotten a first down or whatever, his speed was able to make it to where the play didn't blow up to something more, right?
Yeah,
And for a guy that had to be out there and literally because he didn't have his running partner, right? Campbell's hurt, right?
right.
And he had McDuffie there kind of running with him. McDuffie is, serviceable. But like you're right, like Quay he was unstoppable today. Like he looked amazing. And for a defense that had its ups and downs, he was definitely a bright spot. And like, like one of the guys who just said, true Packer fan just said too, like he was just kind of like, yeah, well, he looked great, but he had that penalty. And I was like, I agree. And it's funny, he did start out like you were right, like he was by the ref, like a little bit in front of the ref, and then he kind of ran and he jumped, right? And I 100% agree with you though. Like, there's no point in doing that because the chances of you blocking the field goal is damn near impossible, anyways,
Right.
right? And if they get the field goal, you're still a three-score game, I believe, at that point, right? It's
Two
still
score.
like
It was a
it's two
13
score,
point. It would have been a 13-point game.
a 30-point game. There you go. See, and I'm like, you can make that happen. Like you can work with that. But now then when they score a touchdown, it screws everything up, right? So I feel like we're paying Rich all this money. He's like the highest paid special teams coordinator and an assistant head coach. And we just keep seeing mistake after mistake after mistake
Yeah.
on special teams. I'm like, all right, man, whenever you like I love Rich, but like whenever you get our money's worth, like I'm confused right now, man. Like, oh God, like
Yeah.
that was a
Oh, I
nasty tasting game.
yeah. The punt return last week. I don't put so much on Rich because that's guys need to follow. You have to follow your holes.
Yeah.
Follow that. You need
Stay
to
in your lanes.
execute.
Yep.
Stay in your
Yep.
lanes. Execute. This one, I don't know if that's a thing that he told Quay to try. If
Mm,
you find the right situation and take a chance or
right.
what. I mean, obviously he's worked on it, I'm sure, but I don't know how much I put on Rich there. But yeah, I mean, overall though, the whole coaching staff needs to step back and take a real hard look at what's kind of going on because this kind of stuff just can't keep happening. It's little mistakes like this. If you think about it this way, is that before that field goal, before the penalty on that field goal, they are down 10 points. After
Mm-hmm.
being down 27-3 at half,
Exactly.
they had put themselves back into a position to
Right.
compete and potentially make a comeback and win this game at home against a
Yeah.
division rival. But it's all of those little things that just pile up, the one after another. The sack on that first drive that puts them way behind the chains. The pass that goes behind Romeo Dobbs on second down or whatever, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes out of bounds and loses them.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
This
talking about. Yep.
this offense can't can't keep doing that. They're not. I mean, it's hard for any offense to do it, but this is still it's such a young team. You have to be able to put yourself into that rhythm, you know, and they just haven't been able to do it yet. I think that they will. I think that the score, personally, for me, it ended up being a 14-point game. I still think these teams are much closer than what any score or whatever
Oh,
happened in this
100%.
game
Yeah.
illustrates. I know there's going to be plenty of Lions fans or anyone that listens to something like that and says, like, oh, well, that, just talk. Like, nothing. Again, I haven't seen anything out of Detroit that makes them special.
Yeah, I have
That
to
makes
say,
them world beaters.
yeah.
I haven't seen anything that makes them Kansas City. I haven't seen anything that makes them Philadelphia or Miami or Buffalo or anybody
Yeah.
like that. I have not seen that yet. You've beaten up on some middling teams, which the Packers are.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of the NFL.
Right.
You haven't really proven to me anything just yet that's special. So I think as Kate, our friend Kate on Twitter, kind of said, to be honest, I kind of thought every game was going to end up like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well, we haven't seen that yet. This even wasn't that bad. Sometimes you get into a bad hole early on and you just can't fucking dig your way out of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Anyway,
you're right, though, but it's funny you said that too, because like you look at the way, like, if this was us last year, it would have just snowpiled, just like the Saints game. It would just snowpiled, right? But no, like this team, sometimes their ignorance is their blessing, right? Where they don't know any better and they just start making that comeback. It's gonna be growing pains. We all knew there was gonna be growing pains, right? And like I always keep saying, until we go over 4 losses, you gotta lose 4 games to get to 13-4. So it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But the truth is, like, yeah, they're gonna be these growing pains. You cannot miss the layups. Like that pass that you're talking about, the Romeo Dobbs, they kind of went out of bounds and stuff. It's like, no, you got to hit that. Like those are, and then, it goes back, like you said, the coaching staff needs to take a step back and really look and see what they have, because Matt LaFleur needs to start finding ways to gain love and the rhythm early instead of waiting second, third, fourth quarter to do that. Like that's not a good play calling scheme there. You need to do things that kind of get them going, because every quarterback needs that. Because, Rodgers was an equalizer for a lot of those, like, mistakes that we would have, or those little like lapses, or I think like, he was able to kind of balance that out until he couldn't, and then when he couldn't, then you started seeing so many things kind of falling apart. We are there now where we don't have that equalizer, so everybody needs to do, like, what does coach say? Everybody has to do their 1/11th, right? And he's right, because if your offensive line is not protecting well, Love is not getting the ball out on time, and then if you have guys not running right routes, you're going to have a recipe for disaster. And that's exactly what happened today, on offense, at least, for sure.
Yeah. And, I like what you said about, they don't know what they don't know. And just, again, like all of these games, it doesn't matter this one or the one last Sunday where they make the comeback, or it was the Falcons or the Bears or whatever. All of these games, man, they just feel so much different without 12 there.
Yeah.
And without, I hate to just say it like this, like the cloud of anxiety and the pressure and the need to be perfect, and you need to do things the 12 way, and if it doesn't work, then you're not getting the ball again, and you're not. And think about just this game, like right here. This to me tells you exactly the difference between this team and any fucking team that Aaron Rodgers ever had. On that last Jordan Love interception, which was a clear miscommunication between Jordan and Romeo. Romeo was open, Jordan double clutch. Romeo thinks he's trying to scramble or whatever. They get disconnected, ends up in an interception. Right. Romeo was visibly upset that they couldn't connect on it. Can you imagine if that happened between him and Aaron Rodgers? If Romeo ever did that?
He would never get the ball again.
If any player ever showed up Aaron Rodgers on the field,
Mm-hmm.
no, it would be Aaron Rodgers coming over and making the point.
Yeah.
That is the difference between this team, is that everybody has the opportunity to be part of what's going on and
Yeah.
vocalize and do it.
Express themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Express themselves. Exactly. And so
Yeah.
even in ass kickings like this in prime time at home, it fucking sucks. But you know what? I tolerate it a little bit more than
Oh
when
yeah.
I watch it with Aaron.
Oh come on! Like even last week's game, there was something that Coach
Yeah.
LaFleur said that Love went and started talking to all the players, and he started like letting them know, "Hey, we got this. We're gonna make." He's working these things out, right? Do you know how many times? You know how many touchdowns that Jaden Reed dropped last week? And when it came to a clutch moment, who did Love go to? He
Right.
went to Reed for that long completion, right? You think Rodgers would have done that? Probably not. Like that's the thing. Like he very quickly is like gonna be like it was the thing I saw Geno Smith telling Jackson Smith and Jigba, where he was like, "Hey man, it's not you. Anything that's wrong, it's on me. It's not on you." Even though he probably knows Jackson may have screwed up, right? He's like,
Right.
"It's not your fault. It's my fault." You think you would ever hear Rodgers say that? Never.
No. No.
He was so quick to throw those guys under the bus on McAfee's show, talk about wrong routes, missed assignments, blah blah blah. I not once has Love ever come out, even with that pick. And I know you were right because he looked off, and I think he threw it blind. Like if you look back, he's
Yeah.
throwing the ball, not
Yeah.
even looking over because he thought Dobbs was gonna sit, and then Dobbs took it up, right? But you can see like Love doesn't he doesn't get mad. Like he doesn't if he does get mad, he doesn't express it, and he definitely doesn't make the players think like, oh, they screwed up, right? He
Right.
just is like shit. Dobbs is pissed. He's like, what the fuck? I'm open over here in the corner, and it's like, yeah, you're right. But he had pressure in his face. He's had
And
to get the
they
ball
work it
out.
out, and they'll work it out.
They'll work it
Because
out.
that's what this team
exactly right.
does. Right.
Yes, because
Exactly.
they try to make relationships. Like they're trying
Yeah.
to work together. It's not about like, oh, you need to get on my page, you need to get on my program, my level, blah blah blah. No, we're gonna come together. We're gonna rise together or we're gonna sink together. But
Yep.
whatever we do, we're going to do it together. And I have to agree with you on that. Where that anxiety about this team, like just not being perfect and then things fucking up, like you don't have that anymore. Like you want them to be perfect, but you're okay with like these hiccups because you know at the end of the day, everything that happens, good or bad, they're gonna learn from it. They're gonna build on it. It's not gonna be like like 2 days later on McAfee or something, someone's gonna go on there and start talking shit about everything.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. I think we've
Covered everything.
most of everything in here. Just again, but to highlight this
Yeah.
stat, David Montgomery, 32 carries, 32 carries for 121 yards. That is more. David Montgomery had more carries than the Lions had pass attempts, and only 4 less than Jordan Love's 36 pass attempts. That is absolutely bananas.
Oh God.
So let's look ahead now. Like you said, mini bye here, and a little extra mini bye, getting that Monday night game in a week from now in Vegas. Do they make the trade for Devontae before this game, or do you think they just pick him up when?
I think I would. Oh man, could you imagine if Devontae was here right now?
Oh man,
my God, that would. Oh man, I would love that. I would love that so much because he is so unhappy over there. And I'm not saying how much better he would be with Love, but I'm pretty sure Love could. He's seen Love play to where he's like, man, I know I can make his life easier, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, could you imagine? But no, I would think that if we could make it happen, they would make it happen. But because there was no Love lost, even when you hear him talk.
No, yeah.
He said, I always loved them, and we didn't get to work out what we want to work out, but I always have good love for Gutekunst and all this and that. But it's gonna be a revenge game, 100%. It's gonna be a revenge game. I don't have much fear about the Raiders only so much. I mean, Pat Graham is a defensive coordinator there. His defense has always been suspect, and then Josh McDaniels has no fucking idea what he's doing as a coach. The fact that he got another job, I won't even tell you what I think about that, but it deals with some kind of privilege. But but
ding.
right? It's like that. There's no reason why that man should have got another opportunity.
Yeah.
And then all he did was just destroy the team, anyways. And he did the same thing he did in Denver, right? But we do not do well on West Coast games.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
always worries me. But this is the one game where I'm like, it's gonna be a drag out fight probably, and Josh Jacobs is probably gonna have the same fucking stat line that David Montgomery just had.
Yeah.
And like, but there's a strong possibility that we can come out on top on that. But I hope in this bye week time that Royce Newman gets benched and maybe Jenkins will be back. Maybe if Jenkins will be back, that would be great. And then we fire Barry, but that's not gonna happen. That's not never gonna happen. Like just like I said, even this game, like even though he ran for 3 touchdowns in 32 attempts and had, he basically had a very old school stat line. Like
Yeah.
Joe's defense at times did what he needed to do, and then at times it didn't. That's where I'm always like,
And
I can understand the apologist, right?
right. And that's the thing too, is like this team is also still very, and I wonder if this is part of it, is that Matt LaFleur, when he sees Joe Barry fail, he sees himself failing
Hmm.
because his offense doesn't put his defense into the right
Exactly.
position to succeed. And that's why Joe
Exactly.
Barry gets a chance after
A
chance
pass.
after chance after chance. Uh,
I can see that. I can definitely see that actually, because he's like, if my offense was, making sustained drives, getting field goals at least, maybe scoring, then giving the defense time to rest, then maybe Joe will be able to do what he do. But the thing is, though, in that Atlanta game, they had a 12-point lead, and Joe's out there freaking, just he had no answer for the run game, and all they do is literally
yeah.
just run it down our throats. And that has been a going theme for him. I thought when Mike Patton left, that our run defense would get better, and I was sorely mistaken.
No, it didn't.
It got worse. It got worse. How is
um,
that possible?
all right. Well, I have a feeling that you and I are probably going to talk if not sooner than in roughly 10, 11 days after that Vegas Monday
Yeah,
night game.
yeah. I'm down to come on Wednesday, man. I definitely want to talk to you guys on Wednesday. That's for sure. Because
All right.
yeah, I need to get. I want to now go listen to Coach and Jordan, and hear what their conferences have to say. I want to hear Coach LaFleur's. It starts with me, guys. It starts with me. I'm gonna
Right.
give Aaron Jones enough touches, and I'm gonna be like, go fuck yourself. I don't care anymore about that.
Then go give
Like,
him more motherfucking
go.
touches.
That's it, dog. Like, you're fucking my fantasy team. You're
Is
fucking my
that
practice team.
meme? Whose fault is that? Whose fucking
Yeah,
fault is it?
the hot dog guy.
We're all
Dude, I'm like watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia from the beginning. And so I'm waiting to get to that moment. Like I'm waiting to get to that moment, man. I cannot wait. I'm gonna die laughing. But I'm on the first season, and I'm just like, this show is so stupid. I love it so much. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Tune in next week. We next Sunday. I think after all the games, we just come on here and bullshit about Always Sunny
Yeah,
for a half hour. Let's
I'm
do it.
down. I'm down for that. Hell yeah, I'm down for that. Let's do it because we'll actually watch some offenses that know what the hell they're doing in the first half.
Right,
Second
exactly.
half, give some love. First half, I have no love right now. It's
Amar, it was
terrible.
good talking to you, man.
Likewise, bro. I hope you're
Appreciate
feeling
it.
better. You sound better.
Yes, feeling a lot better, sounding a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I'm very
Um,
happy to hear.
Thank you, everyone that stopped in, especially True North. He's been all over the
He's
chat
consistent.
today.
He's
Yes,
always consistent.
consistently always here. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate everyone that stopped in, said hey, sent us a chat. You can follow Umar and myself right there at the little socials. Follow the show, follow the network at Game On WI on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe on the channel as well so you get notified every time we go live, just like this. Any of our other weekly shows. But for Umar, myself, take it on the chin, Packer fans. We got another one coming up in just 11 days. Until then, go Pack.
Rest up. Go Pack.